Cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's session of Meet IT Connects. Woo! This is a pretty uh, uh, a kind of a different session where we will have some introductions for each of the different IT Connects groups. For those of you who um, don't know what IT Connects is, it's the organization that helps us to have this conference, but also just to find ways across the university to connect as professionals. Lots of really cool programs that IT Connects puts on. And so we look forward for us to introduce all of our different groups and for you to get to know each of them. Um, then after those presentations will happen, then we are going to be setting up different locations in this room so that if you have questions to ask to the individual groups or just to get to know the leaders, then you can do that. We will make sure that there's time before we do that breakout. If there's any questions online that we can answer, that we can make time for that as well. But without further ado, our first group is the IT Bridge Builders.
A man gets up from a round table and walks to the podium. A slide shows a bridge under construction.
Hi, Scott Winger here again. Yeah, IT Bridge Builders. We used to be called something rather cryptic. I'm not even going to mention it. It's just a bunch of letters. But yeah, Bridge Builders. So connect, grow, and succeed together. Yeah. So as you can see, we do a number of things. The bullet points down here. A lot of times, IT folk can be more comfortable in meeting scenarios that are smaller. And I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe the Coffee Connections was actually Lois's idea. Don't know for sure about that. But we sponsor the IT Coffee Connections. Show of hands, how many participate in the Coffee Connections program?
Hands go up.
Okay, so we have a ways to go. We'll be recruiting again in November. We also maintain a couple of guides. They're very, very valuable guides. And we're lucky here today because Jason Erdman, for example, is sitting right there. Raise your hand, Jason, if you would. Yeah, Jason was among the first authors of these two guides here. And then our group was given responsibility for stewarding these guides, which means keeping them up to date. And people, these guides are incredibly useful. The effort that Jason and colleagues back in the day, I think 2017, when these were first built, these documents, went to town. So I recommend that you ask me about at our table. I'll be with my co-lead, John Graham, over at this table. Ask us about the best practices guidelines and the guidelines for new users, newly hired IT employees, and then the welcome letter that we send out to newly hired IT employees. Very cool. And then the last thing that we do, sometimes Todd Schechter will come up with a crazy idea like, hey, I need someone who can research how to increase the use of and adoption of AI on this campus. And those kinds of harebrained ideas that Todd comes up with and others, they come to our group as we're an incubator for building community and helping people, build bridges between each other. So John Graham and I will be sitting at this table unless Mary Cummins kicks us out, but we'll be at the Bridge Builders table. So I'm not taking questions, right? And the next group is wonderfully mentoring.
A man approaches the podium. A slide is headed, IT mentoring. A QR code is in the lower right.
Hello, I'm Connor Klecker. I do IT at CALS, and today I'm talking about IT mentoring. I co-lead with the wonderful Ella, and we got a lot of bullet points there, but basically we connect both students and IT professionals around campus. We thoughtfully match both mentors with mentees, create a space to build community, advance their goals together, and at their own pace. It's been growing every year, so join the party. Use the QR code to find more on our website. And next up is design community.
A slide is headed, UW Design Community. A QR code is in the lower right. A woman approaches the podium.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Cummins from the Wisconsin School of Business. I'm the web team manager over there. And I'm one of the co-leads of the UW Design Community. We're a group that's with the purpose of improving experiences on campus through design. So how we do that, we hold bi-monthly events where we host speakers. We have a Teams channel where we foster discussions around design, share best practices, share resources, tips. People can ask questions. And who we are a huge group, 400 plus members in our Teams group. And that's because we take a super broad definition of designer. You don't have to identify as a designer. You just have to be someone who makes something and makes some design decisions. We have writers, we have developers, we have social media people, we have analysts, all types in this group. So anything you do, if you make something, you could probably find community here in this group. So like I said, our events are kind of our big ticket item. Every other month, we host a presenter. Some of our past events and presentations we're on will Chat GPT, Steal Your Design Job. That was someone from the School of Business, one of our lecturers there. We had Elevating Americans' Needs Through Modern Design Methods. That was two former UW employees who moved to do consulting work for the government and how they use design to meet the needs of or solve different problems in the government area. And then we've also done workshops, for example, how to create a service blueprint. So up next, if you want to join us, we have a session in June called Social Media for All of Us, Making Content Accessible and Inclusive. That's June 18th, followed by a happy hour on the terrace. So hope you can join us. And the QR code there will take you to our website. You could just Google UW Design Community as well. There's links to get on our email list and our Teams group. So join those. You can get our future invites and be part of the discussion. Thanks, everyone. Leadership Improv.
A slide is headed, Leadership Improv. A man and woman approach the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Erdman. Day job as an IT project manager in the School of Education, and this is my co-lead.
I'm Amanda Thornton, she, her, hers. I'm a software developer at the Space Science and Engineering Center.
And because I forgot, he, him. So Leadership Improv was started a dozen or so years ago by the first CIO of the School of Education when he noted that the core competencies of being a good leader and communicator are the same as the core competencies required to be good at improv comedy. So if you're practicing to the competency, you can get better at one while doing the other. So that's kind of what we do. We get together and we do improv comedy activities, but then we stop and say, now where was your brain at on that? How did that make you feel? How did that make you think? And by practicing and getting more comfortable with things like that, you can take people who maybe aren't very comfortable standing in front of a crowd of 40, 50 people in person and goodness knows how many online and doing some public speaking.
I'm assuming he's doing that segue because I came to this group as a facilitator to work on my public speaking skills. So
It's like I handed it off to you.
looks like you handed it off to me. I also want to make a connection to what Lois was talking about this morning about when you're like this with somebody, how do you resolve that? And then in leadership improv, we talk about yes and, or how can we, okay, yes, and we both have goals in this. How can we work on this together? And that's the crux of our workshops that we do and try to really drive that home. We do a great intro workshop. We'll do it for any group that needs it across campus. We're free. I emphasize psychological safety in there. It's low risk. You know, the lessons, we take only the lessons with you. We purposely choose activities and games that are not upfront singing and dancing like Wayne Brady, because who can do that? So we don't really put people on the spot. We want to stretch your comfort zone, but don't want to break it. And we open the doors to let people kind of sit down. If it's too much, they can sit down and observe, and you can still get those lessons. And you had something to close with.
Just to come, she said our group is free. We don't charge for anything. Our primary focus right now is either presenting at conferences or doing private groups for departments, projects, groups on campus. So if you're looking for team building exercises or chance to practice public speaking or getting more comfortable with dealing with surprise, we've got some activities pre-planned out that we can bring on in. We have gotten HR professionals and IRS professionals to laugh and have a good time and say they learned something from it. So if we can get through to them, I promise you we can work with anybody.
Cybersecurity was a little.
Yeah, well, when you get cybersecurity improvising, you never know what you're going to get. But,
Those.
oh, I mean, when the people that know all your passwords have never mind. We are going to pass this along.
Thanks. Am I next?
We have ITLD is up next.
A slide is headed IT Leadership Development, ITLD. A woman approaches the podium.
It feels really unfair to have to follow that. I feel like we set these up all wrong. Although they did a great job plugging themselves. Before I launch into ITLD and introduce myself and all the rest, I just want to say that you should not be afraid of the word leadership in leadership improv. It is, as Amanda was saying about, like, it's good for any kinds of conflict situations, all those things. It's good for everybody. I was terrified the first time I went to one of their programs, and the low risk piece is really true. They make it very easy to feel comfortable doing it, and I would strongly recommend it. Yay. Okay. My name is Elizabeth Simcock. I am one of the two co-leads for the IT Leadership Development Group. This was formerly known as ITLP, but we changed from a P to a D, which is really hard to differentiate when you're talking, to help clarify a few things. So my other co-lead is Amy Diesler, who's unable to be here today. In my other life here, I am an associate director in Do It for the Web Platforms and Services Group. And this group is the one that it's made up of alumni of some of the more programs here on campus, people who have gone through those training programs. And this group of folks organizes that process, liaises with more to help make sure that everything is running smoothly, figures out how to do applications and things like that each year, works through all of the related processes. And also, as you see down toward the bottom here, we work through post-graduation engagement pieces. And so that means that people who have been through these can have ways to re-engage with each other and with campus. We are always looking for how to broaden that and bring more folks across campus into getting some of these trainings and having some opportunities to learn from what we've learned through these programs. And so please come and ask me any more questions you have. Next up is the IT Leadership Conference.
A slide is headed INT Leadership Conference. A woman approaches the podium.
Hey everyone, I'm Nicole Center. I'm part of the Planning Committee for Information and Technology Leadership Conference. In addition to my role here, I am also a department administrator in medical history and bioethics and serve on the academic staff executive committee. Our leadership conference brings together professionals from across UW-Madison to learn, listen, and collaborate on leadership topics that impact not only our campus, but also the broader higher education community. Last year, we diversified our conference and offered more defined networking opportunities both in person and in hybrid settings. We hope to strengthen that this year based on feedback that we received and creating more opportunities to network. Normally, our presenters are all UW-Madison employees. However, last year we had 2 outside speakers that provided some valuable insight into thought processes outside of UW. I think it's important to change up who our speakers are to help us grow and spark new ideas. What I love about this group is its diversity. We have folks in clearly defined IT roles, but we also have members like me who primarily work in information side of INT. Things like content strategy, data stewardship, and user communication. That balance makes our planning and the conference itself richer and more inclusive. Next up is Professionals Conference.
A woman approaches the podium.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Kraege-Soechting. I am David's co-chair for the IT Professionals Conference. Y'all met him this morning. So I'm not going to say a lot about the conference because you're here. You already know what it is. But this conference was started as the goal was to put on this conference for UW-IT by UW-IT. So it's a very much a homegrown effort. And we have expanded to the universities of Wisconsin this year, which we're really excited about. So we may need to change our slogan, but this wouldn't be possible without volunteers from throughout the university. So typical volunteer time periods are January to May. David kind of went over our committees this morning, but it's not too early to sign up for next year. Yeah. We will put you on a list and contact you again in January, I promise. So anyway, this is a wonderful conference. It's a wonderful way to get involved, meet some people that you wouldn't normally work with, and help contribute to something that is really beneficial for the IT community as a whole. And up next is Digital Accessibility Community.
A slide is headed Digital Accessibility Community. A QR code is in the lower right. A woman and man approach the podium.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Richardson. I'm one of the co-leads for the digital accessibility community. I'm also a developer and web platform services at Do It.
Hi, nice to meet you all again. My name is Al Nemec. My pronouns are he, him, his. I serve as a digital accessibility program manager within the Center for User Experience in Do It Academic Technology. So it's great to see you all today. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about the digital accessibility community of practice. This is a growing and vibrant community of folks. We have well over 400 members now, and it continues to grow and see a lot of great new engagement all of the time. The big thing about this community as well is we have an awful lot of diverse sets of backgrounds, roles, experiences, and chances are there's a lot of interest and intrigue you'll get out of getting to meet all these different folks, but they'll be able to provide you a lot of insights on what you might be working with. So even when we don't know, there's something in the community that does.
As Al mentioned, members include content creators, copywriters, marketing, HR, purchasing, business services. We have a team space with channels for development, but also for content, and welcome any questions related to digital accessibility. So we really want to help people connect, whether it's you tried something exciting or tested and fixed something and you want to share your story, or you're stuck, you have a question, you're not sure how to implement something or how to test something. I think there are a lot of people on campus that are really generous sharing their knowledge and expertise, and we want to help people connect.
Yeah, I think I know a few folks in the room, but are any of you digital accessibility liaisons at this point? See a few hands already. So if you don't know, digital accessibility liaisons serve as a key connection point for working through the digital accessibility implementation we have on this campus, working hand in hand with the Center for User Experience, among others as well. And the key thing there is that these folks are part of the community. So a great thing about this is it helps bring us all together. You have folks that are working together in the same unit that sometimes are learning about their liaison in this environment. And it's a great time to figure out how to better collaborate and bring together a very distributed campus. So on top of that, just everything is very low key and easy to approach. Microsoft Teams is generally where a lot of times we spend a lot of our time. There's a great time or a great opportunity there to just share and ask questions, whether they're technical, non-technical, as Beth mentioned. And we really encourage you to join. And lastly, we always have bi-monthly meetups. So if you're looking to learn a little bit more, or see some special speakers, or hear from the Office of Compliance, a great time and a great time to spend with us and learn a little bit more. So we encourage you to come talk to us if you'd like to learn more. We're going to be in the second table in the middle back. So, and then the next group, Data Wonks.
A slide is headed Data Wonks. Two men approach the podium.
Hey, everybody. So I'm Mike Zenz, and I'm a policy and planning analyst in LNS.
And my name is Adam Huffman, and I work within the Wisconsin School of Business inside teaching and learning.
So so we're Data Wonks, and Data Wonks is basically a very inclusive group of people who work with data on campus. So some of us are analysts who work with data programming. Some of us are administrators, could even be like financial specialists, basically anyone on campus who uses data, which is, I think, everyone. So we're a community of practice of employees that basically come together and just talk about things that have to do with data. So we have, during the school year, we have monthly meetups, and we've talked about a variety of issues. So here's just a list of them. So improving data and digital accessibility, which we were helped with the digital accessibility people, which was awesome. Automated workflows. I think this is with some Microsoft products. Specifically, data programming, and then also Excel tips and tricks. This is just a few things we've talked in our big group. But we also have small groups, which are
Yeah, small groups are something that we just started this year. And there are just a few other groups listed there for SQL writing, data programming, and Excel tips and tricks. So this is like outside of our monthly meetings, another place to both grow community as well as gain professional experience. And then also there is our website, datawonks.wis.edu, which is also was recently redesigned this year. Thank you.
and we'll be back there.
Next up is Computer Lab Administrators Community.
A slide is headed Computer Lab Administrators Community. A woman approaches the podium.
Hi, I am Ella Chopik, and I manage a help desk at the School of Education. When I first started at the School of Education, did I say communication? Education. Clearly, my communication is not on today. When I started at the School of Education, I started as the computer lab administrator, and I thought, well, it would be really great to connect with other folks on campus who are doing something similar, managing similarly imaged computers. And over time, we've grown from just people who are interested in talking about the technology around endpoint management, basically. Whether that's real machines in a lab or virtual machines in Azure, we have folks that come to talk about it all. We meet virtually, and those virtual meetings tend to be about a topic. So last year we did paper cut, and then I think it was early this year, we talked about the Windows 10 to 11 update. And then we meet every other time in person. Our in-person ones tend to be at a union, by the lake, and we just kind of chill and talk, and sometimes it's about work and sometimes it's not. Our next upcoming virtual meeting is going to be on ticketing systems. That'll be fun and exciting, I'm sure, but for those of us who would like to talk about them, it'll be great. And if you'd like any more information, you can email me or find me at this table over here.
A woman approaches the podium.
All right, up next is Women in IT.
A slide is headed Women in IT. A woman approaches the podium. She leans to the side.
Well, we can see.
She angles her head to see the slide.
Women in IT was a group founded by Brenda Spicala, which I am wearing the blazer of Brenda in honor. But she was coming out of ITLP, of the Moore and Associates training, going, I want to start this group. And I think a lot of the groups that you've seen today have people coming out of the ITLP programs with this energy. I want to do something. I want to make something happen. And I came to this Women in IT group thinking there were some things that I wanted to hear when I was early career. There were some really important information that I wish I'd have had then. Like, what are the structural components of imposter syndrome? I know how I feel in here with imposter syndrome, but there is some structural issues that are sending me these messages too, and just being able to recognize those things. Women in IT did the imposter syndrome. We had the author of that book in to do a session. Was that 2018, 2019? And it was wonderful. It was a great workshop if anyone happened to be there. But those are the sorts of things that we're going to do. We just had a speed networking. So it was a heavily facilitated speed networking session here over there at Memorial Union. It was just women in IT. Well, all genders were welcome, but women in IT for UW, and the Madison Women in IT, Madison Women in Tech meetup group. We sort of co-do this, and we had a dozen women just talking to each other in little 5-minute increments with structured questions if you needed them. Not everybody needs them, but some people do. And it was a wonderful conversation with members of the community, members of the UW Women in IT community. We will have a panel tomorrow with some women in IT professionals talking about the inflection points of their careers and what was part of that decision. People take the next step. They go to a different company. Maybe they take a step back in their career because they have to balance their personal lives with it, or they just want a lower stress job. So really, it's for women that are these wonderful journeys. And if I were back early career, I would want to see these people talking. They're amazing. So just hearing their stories and seeing what's possible. Yes, you can transition from kindergarten education to IT, and there's skills that are transferable. you're not an imposter because of that, because you don't have a CS degree. It's like you can be there, and there's these paths that are wonderful that enrich all of IT. So join us. We'll be the panel tomorrow. Then we're doing another panel, similar panel with slightly different people at the Women in Leadership Symposium next week. We usually spread our events out a little bit more than having 3 in 1 month, but this year has been wild. So we'll pick it up again in the fall after everybody figures out where Workday's going. So thank you. Is somebody next? No, networking event. That's after this. Oh, I'll be at a table. I might be with Leadership Improv too. Talk to us. Thanks.
A woman approaches the podium.
I figured I'd use this opportunity as a shameless plug. So Ella and I volunteered at one of the recent IT Connects meetings to set up some networking opportunities. And we have one coming up here in June on the 24th. I know most of you are thinking that's crazy because Workday is about to come, but take a break from Workday prep. And come, we'll have some structured and some unstructured networking time. There will be snacks. Yeah, and there will be some more communications coming out about this. I don't think we've sent out any emails yet, but just want to put that on everyone's radar. Everyone is welcome, and we hope to see you there. So that's all of the formal portion of this talk.